Welcome to Ocean Breeze, Pam.
Thank you.
First, I'd like you to introduce yourself to
All right.
our neighbors and tell them why maybe perhaps you chose to run as candidate for.
Hi, everybody. My name is Pam Cooley, and I'm the Liberal candidate for Dartmouth North. Pleased to meet you. Pleased to meet you as well. Thank you for inviting me down. And I just want to say how devastated I am to see the situation that you're in. And you know that I was aware of this a couple of years ago, and but to come down here and see the boarded up communities, it crushes me.
It is.
So I'm really sorry about that.
Yeah, and I understand the emotion. Everybody here has been, trying to live and exist around all that. So
to see people who are struggling, I mean, with the full scarcity of rentals now, and then for them to happen in the midst of that, it's just actually cruel.
Dartmouth North has
It's cruel. So
a 0.1% vacancy rate. So our first question is how do you plan to address the issue of developers purchasing land or communities that are already occupied to prevent people from being displaced and forced onto the streets?
Well, both, thanks for the question. Both, professionally and personally, there are models that exist already. And I've studied those myself and am in touch with people who have done actually that thing that should have happened here, which is to take the time and the effort to relocate people in decent places and make sure that they have first right of refusal and grandfathered in. This is a model that exists. And in the light of what's happening in Dartmouth North right now, I cannot see how this is getting, how they're doing this without compassion. There are models that exist, and that's what I would do. I would encourage people to look at alternatives. And this could have been so great. This could have been like best practice in Canada, and they chose not to. And so that's difficult for you and for me to take on. But as far as the Liberals are concerned, we have the issue is supply, and so we need to build more alternative kinds of things off the market, like land trusts, like co-ops, and we need other places to stabilize the rents and to make sure that they're off market. So we plan to. My idea is to partner with people who do the supply. I mean, developers and landlords, they're not all bad. I believe that they're not all bad because I know some good ones. And I think that we can partner and do the right thing. We can build with the nonprofit organizations and with the organizations that are looking at trust, county trust, and co-op, because I think that that's a model that takes it off the market. So that's some of the things that I've been thinking about.
And we can find a lot more about that at, would you say, Dartmouth?
Yeah, my website, I give you.
Yeah,
DartmouthNorth.ca is my website, and I've got all the socials and everything there too.
Yeah, good. All right, so second question, how much truly affordable housing beyond just the NSPHA housing are you committed to building, and what is the timeline for that?
So I just sort of answered that a little bit, but I don't know much about the Nova Scotia housing, to be honest with you. They have their mandate, but what I would like to do is see some innovative, like buying up land that's for sale, putting it into the mix. Doesn't always have to be a big chunk of land when, there's all kinds of different things. We could actually ask the developers. This is another model that exists. We can actually ask the developers to partner with us for a percentage of the unit to be affordable and to create that to happen. So then you have mixed housing, right? You don't just have people in the same situation, which, is okay. But, the mixed housing is also what that from the data says is more healthy.
So are you saying a Liberal government would have supported buying property if they were?
No, what I'm saying is that as a Dartmouth North MLA, I would look at and make things happen here that, see, not everybody has the view I have because I've been doing housing in different places.
Right.
And people get kind of like, this is the only way to do things. But I've had a bigger view of what we can do and the different models that exist, and I'd like to bring them here, including to my Liberal Party. Yeah, but they are open to that.
We need new ideas. There's something you want us to say, John? No? Okay. So on to third question. What steps will you take to improve healthcare services, particularly mental health care, very important to myself and many of our neighbors, and ensure that doctors are retained so everyone has access to healthcare providers?
So on our platform, the Liberal platform, we have, as do others on our platform, like the NDP, is the collaborative health clinics. Now, I actually believe in that. I've experienced that in living in other places where there's a catchment area, or if you move out, you're still available to that particular clinic that has different disciplines. The program that the Liberals are presenting is to also have mental health under that. Now, what I want to do for mental health and addictions, I don't know if you know this, if you've looked me up, I'm pretty public about this, but I have lived experience in this area where my son died of fentanyl poisoning.
Oh my goodness.
4 years ago, 2020, January. So I've been dealing with it. Yeah. And I know, so I just want to say to all the moms and families and friends out there that are looking and helping and trying to help people who are suffering from substance use, that I know how you're feeling, and I know it feels pretty hopeless, but hopefully that we can put things in place and what I want to do is I want to get best practice here. There are places in the world that are taking a comprehensive approach to mental health and addictions, where there's enforcement, getting my campaign manager told me not to swear, but getting the fuckers on the street that are selling the poison drugs. That's one thing. Nobody's going after my son's seller.
No way. Yeah.
You know, so they're going after the big star sellers, but they're not going after my star sellers.
So that cause must be very close.
It's very close to my heart. Enforcement, access to services, harm reduction. We have 50 people on safer supply in Nova Scotia, and there's 150 on the waiting list.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, and we know that this works. It's saving people's lives.
I'm sure there's a lot more.
And then access to recovery, but different ways to recover, because there's no one size fits all. So we need to actually look at this very seriously. And this is one of my number one passions, as you can see.
Yeah.
So I hope I answered your question.
Yes,
I get a little on her when I'm on that.
No, by all means. So the fourth question is, during the last election, you campaigned against rent control. Given the inflation rates in recent years, your stance to rent control changed?
Well, at that time, I was against rent control because, in my view and my understanding, that if you have rent control for people who are actually the suppliers of rents, the landlords and the developers, it's go back to the supply and creating supply. So that was my thinking at that time. Okay. I still have that thinking, but I also know that when there's scarcity of rental, we need to have some sort of control. And what the Liberal Party has decided is that we are going to continue with supply until and we'll have rent control until it gets down to 3%. And that's when the landlords start to compete. And so that's what we want to do. But also, the rental, the rate at which the rental control will be controlled by a third party. So politics don't get in it. Right. And it's also going to be a little bit more refined. So in areas that don't need it, then those will be lifted. But in those in the areas that do need it, it will be done by a third party. So it's not in politics. I mean, you can do whatever you want, so 5%, whatever. But it's not based on any. We want to base it on market, inflation, and the other thing.
And if you fix the fixed term loophole as well, I think that's
right.
Very important. So we'll go ahead and get on. Here.
It's too long.
So, no worries.
Okay.
Great. As an advocate for socially responsible businesses, what measures will you take to ensure that Basin Heights approaches the redevelopment of Ocean Breeze in a socially responsible way?
So my company, my consulting company is called Choose Ethical Ventures, and it's based on a very, very strong belief that if companies can articulate their values, then we can actually buy from companies that our values meet. And so there can be more good in the world. Right. So that's the premise of my principle. As far as Basin Heights is concerned, listen, I can't force anybody to be morally good. You can't force anybody to be morally good, but they have to obey the laws. They have to obey the building laws. They have to obey, and also, I'll be willing to work with you on creating a way in which makes sense for something different here. It maybe it's not too late to convince them to do something different. I don't know, but you know, if you want to live here, knowing what they've done to other people, then that could be an example.
Well, we know that that's what if they're profit market, that's for sure.
Well, you know, there's ways to do it. They could have done it differently, and they chose not to.
Well, I'm glad
So-
to hear that you want to work with us. But like you said earlier when we were talking, whatever happens, we need to make sure this doesn't happen again to another community in Nova Scotia.
Or we could offer an alternative.
Yeah,
you know?
we need alternatives.
And we need morally compassionate developers and landlords. And there are the other one I want to say is that I don't actually believe that the private sector is responsible for affordable housing,
Mm.
but I believe that the good ones can partner with us and do really good things. It happens all over the world. There's great modeling out there. So
Well, my opinion though is that if they're going to get involved in a community thing like this to make profit, then they have a moral responsibility, provided not a legal one, but definitely a moral and social responsibility to do it.
yeah, and I want to publicly apologize for not coming down sooner.
Well, like
Oh,
you
yeah.
said, you've been busy with work. There's, we all have to make a living.
I've been
Yeah.
busy. I've been busy doing things in Vancouver because I've known there, and I have a reputation there for being, doing things like this.
Right.
And right now, I'm trying to secure 1,000 units in the east side of Vancouver,
Right.
in order for more people not to be kicked out. So I want you to know that I do this work. It's just that it's a stronghold here for Sue, and she's a great person. I just want to ask people for consideration and see if they are willing to look at my credentials and see if there's room for change.
Well, we'll definitely put those up for everybody. I want to thank you for coming out today, Pam. And we're going to talk again.
Invitation.
No problem. It was
Thank
really
you.
nice to meet you.
Thanks. Bye.